Hello everyone, Sunderek here. So in today's video, I want to talk about the different versions of the new Dendro set and another new artifacts that has been sort of spoiled recently. There are three versions online. One of them looks closer to be true, while the other two looks a little bit too strong for the current level of artifact sets. And of course, with that said, please do take everything with a grain of salt because none of them could be true, or at least the ones that seem more OP could also be true if MiHoYo want to start power creeping in the game. One last thing to note is that all these these are all spoilers, so if you do not like spoilers, please do not watch this video. With that said, let's get started. So let's start with the version that is the most not discrete, and also it's probably the closest one. So basically for this one, it mentions two sets that are going to be coming in 3.0. One artifact is of course for the Dendro, and because artifact domains always appears in two sets in one domain, so the other set is going to be the one that's accompanying the Dendro artifact set. So for the Dendro artifact set, it mentions that it's going to do two things. One is increased Dendro damage, which will most likely be the 2-piece, and the 4-piece will most likely be debuff and enemy when you do for you to do more Dendro damage, basically. Now, just one thing to quickly note for this artifact set, the main thing is that the Dendro debuff provided is going to mean that MiHoYo is trying to completely remove Anemo from the equation of character composition when Dendro comes in. Now, of course, any of you that has followed the spoilers for elemental reactions will know that Dendro and Anemo is said to have no reactions, which makes absolutely no sense. But if that is to be the case, then basically the 4-piece Viridescent Veneers effect of shredding the corresponding elemental resistance is now going to be, for Dendro's case, will be used by the Dendro's 4-piece set, which means there's no need for any more characters to be in teams anymore to shred resistance. That will basically decrease the value of Kazuha, especially who they are going to try to target by quite a bit, up to the point where Kazuha is basically only being used for damage buff, and I don't even know if that works because Kazuha will not be able to swirl Dendro to provide the damage buff. So they're basically trying to completely remove Kazuha from the equation in terms of building characters once Dendro comes out and takes the main stage. As for the other artifact set, it's basically said to increase crit damage, but as a sacrifice, you have to decrease yourself's defense and shield strength. I don't think it matters too much for this set, because for a team to have Zhongli, then shield strength pretty much doesn't matter. His shield never breaks, it pretty much always expires. And on the other hand, crit damage is basically the most important stat for 90% of the characters in games, so having extra crit damage while sacrificing defense, which any character other than Noelle, Ito, and Xian doesn't care about, and also shield strength, which again, if you have Zhongli, it doesn't matter. I think this set is going to be very strong. So with that said, now let's move on to the two different versions of the set that are a little bit more extreme. That's how I would put it. So starting with the first version, so for the 2-piece, it's going to increase Dendro damage by 15%, which sounds normal, and 15% sounds a little bit conservative, but we can go with that. I think the only one that got increased by, I think most of the ones increased them by 20 or somewhere between 15 to 20. As for the 4-piece set, it increases burning and, sorry, I don't remember the proper name for all the reactions with Dendro, so I'm just going to say what reaction it is. So it increases burning, which is Dendro and Pyro reaction, and also Dendro and Hydro reaction by 40%. It's going to increase Dendro and the Electro reaction by 15%, and after causing a Dendro related reaction, it's going to decrease the enemy's resistance to Dendro by 40%. So this looks very strong. The main reason I would say this one is a little bit overtuned is because compared to some of the artifacts that has been gamed since 1.0, the 4-piece generally just does any of the above, which is increase all Dendro related reaction by a specific percent. As for the second step of the 4-piece set of further decreasing Dendro resistance after causing Dendro reactions, it seems like it's amalgamating two sets between like a regular 4-piece set plus the 4-piece for Viridescent Veneer, but just for Dendro. So together this seems a very strong set and a bit overtuned. As for the second set that is increasing crit damage, the 2-piece set is actually increase the damage of elemental skill by 20%, and the 4-piece set is increasing after elemental skill hits an enemy, elemental skills crit damage is further increased by 20%. However, as a result, you have to sacrifice 5% defense decrease and also 5% shield with shield strength decrease, and this whole thing lasts for 8 seconds. However, you can have up to 4 stacks of this, and each stack can be triggered after 0.1 seconds. And of course, finally, the character that is wearing this set can trigger this off field as well. Now this looks like a very strong set if you're able to, if you are someone who mainly utilizes elemental skill. For someone like Hu Tao, this can definitely take advantage. Now for Hu Tao, you have to see whether elemental skill counts as like her E normal attack counts as elemental skill, but someone like Chao can definitely make use of this. As for the shield resistance and defense decrease part, I've already talked about this. Defense decrease, people who have Zhongli, defense decrease, most people don't care unless you're one of the 4 characters that scales off defense, which I think is Ito. Sorry, there's a bit more, but yeah. Unless you're someone that scales off defense, you don't care about defense decrease. As for shield strength decrease, if you have Zhongli, that basically cancels it out, and Zhongli's shield never breaks, so I don't think that's an issue. Moving on to the final version of these two pieces. Now these I think is the Dendro set is slightly less tuned than the original one, but the other set is definitely more tuned than the original one. So for the 2-piece Dendro set is actually increasing elemental mastery. Now for any of you that doesn't know, the new Dendro and the electro reaction is scaling damage partially off elemental mastery. So this is basically what most people are saying. Yamiko is gonna finally stand up and become meta with this set. However, the 4-piece set is basically the same as the original one. So increase the Dendro Electro and Dendro power damage by 40%, but only increase Dendro Hydro reaction by 20%. Also increases the amount of spores that can spawn together with Dendro Hydro reaction up to 4. And finally, after causing Dendro elemental reactions for the next 8 seconds, every single second increase Dendro damage by 5%, goes up to 40%. So together with all of this, this set looks a little bit closer to what it could be doing, because debuff seems like a little bit too strong to give to an artifact set. In fact, Viridescent Veneer still remains basically the strongest set in game, just because that 40% debuff on any element other than Geo is insane. I can see them giving Dendro debuff to characters specifically, but I think putting it on a universal artifact set, which any Dendro character can wear, can be a little bit problematic if they do want to later release Dendro characters that are going to do great damage. Then together with this set, the character's damage can easily be overtuned. So having to release artifacts like that would mean they need to hold back on future characters' damage by quite a bit, which would cause underwhelming character designs. And moving on to the final set, for the final version of the set that is not the Dendro set, the 2-piece is increased crit rate by 12%, which I believe is the same as Berserkers, or similar to Berserkers. And the 4-piece is increased elemental skills damage by 20%. After elemental skill causes damage, increase 20% elemental damage. 20% elemental skills crit damage. So basically, after you cause elemental skills, the next one will do an extra 20% crit damage. But this one has a slightly bigger debuff, decrease 15% of defense and 10% of shield strength for the character that is getting this buff, and can trigger once every 0.1 seconds. However, this can stack up to 4 stacks, and after you gain 4 stacks, increase your attack speed by 15% and your HP by 20%. This one just feels like it's all over the place. The debuff though can be a little bit serious. Of course, since most characters don't scale off defense, I don't think everyone has a good idea of how defense scales in the game, which I don't as well. But if 4 stacks of this are getting stacked, then you're looking at a 60% defense decrease, which could be potentially very bad if you're getting hit. And it's also looking at 40% shield strength decrease, which again could require you to force a Zhongli onto someone that is wearing this set and doing DPS. As for the elemental skill as the main thing, I think someone like Yamiko again can take huge advantage of this set, and other characters like Lisa, D-Luke can also take advantage of this set. As for Fischl, I'm not sure if all doing damage will count towards the elemental skill doing damage. But the 4-piece effect, after the 4 stacks of 15% attack speed increase and 20% HP is huge, because 20% HP itself is basically 2-piece tenacity, and 15% damage increase is pretty much previously only seen in character constellations. So that's what I have for you for this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you like the content, please consider subscribing. Thank you and have a nice day.